All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. And this, of course, will be recorded, so we will be able to share it out to anyone that attends, and anyone else that was not able to make it, we can get this link for them so they can see and hear everything that we talked about today. So once again, thank everyone for coming today. Specifically today, we were going to talk about data security. And, you know, the big thing that a lot of companies are talking about is this Vermont Brokerage Law that was just passed recently and put into effect on January 31st. And the reason we bring this up is that data security is moving. It's moving on to a place where it's going to be something that's becoming more and more standardized. And here at Boberdoo, we of course like to be at the head of these types of changes. So we've gone through some great lengths here to make sure that you as the client and the consumer itself are all protected and can help put through these new features to make sure everyone's on the same page with these data laws. And, you know, the Vermont one is the big one because that's the first one in the nation. Okay, this is the first time anything has ever gone through with something like this, and it has gone into effect. So here I just brought up a quick, lawyer blog that kind of goes into the definitions of what these different laws entail. And as you see, right now it's specifically for Vermont. But we have to expect, you'd have to believe that this is going to be moved on into other states as well in the near future, possibly even sooner. I almost draw a parallel to Journaya and Lead ID. 5 years ago, however many years ago, when clients started going through the tasks of, all right, yeah, there's this new company, Lead ID or Journaya as they're called now, where they're putting in this type of validation to ensure that leads are unique, ensure that leads are not being resold unfairly. These types of laws and policies, before this Vermont one come into place. And kind of everyone looked at it and, was, okay, yeah, but, good luck getting the entire lead industry to follow suit. However, fast forward to today, we see now that is a very prevalent option that almost all companies are working with. So we can definitely see this type of brokerage laws of consumer protection being applied on a more global level sooner rather than later. So with that idea behind, I wanted to then show you within the Boberdoo system what options you have as a client for controlling what data is shown, who can see that data, and so on. So just a little, forewarning and, disclaimer here, but, we are not lawyers, of course. This is our idea of forward thinking to try to protect our clients and protect the consumers. And so the whole idea behind this is, to show you the tools that you have at your disposal here using a Boberdoo system to help battle these new changes and help be compliant with anything, maybe a buyer is requiring, an affiliate is requiring, and so on. Another thing to consider is that, newer clients versus older Boberdoo clients. Any new clients that have come on recently, these tools are automatically put in place. So it's really speaking to our older clients that it's going to be something to get rolled out to their instance. And with each lead type and each system, the data is different. Some people are collecting name fields, some people don't collect email, some people collect both. So there's always that battle of, what the specific client is looking at in their lead type. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of our just our dummy systems here. And one of the new features we have is you're going to have a lead type security icon here next to each lead type. So when you click this, you're going to have this front-facing information of exactly what information is considered personal, what information is part of a cleanup, what information is sensitive that needs to be scrambled. So you can see here there's the different sections for the field cleanup settings, the lead deletion settings, the data retention settings, and then other settings. So for the most part, PI information is pretty standard across. It's going to be the name, address info, name and email, or phone and email. Then when you start getting the search cleanup fields and sensitive fields, that can be done on a case-by-case basis. So, someone wants to, one company wants to do sub-ID on one lead type, but pub-ID in another, of course that's okay. So these are things we can work with you to come up with your list of fields that you want to have part of this. And these are just options that we have now in the system to program in and plug in and have these then go through. And there's a couple different options for when and how it's done. So as I mentioned here, there's the sensitive field cleanup. We have this one particularly set to real time. You could obviously, of course, have it set to a number of days as well. So after X amount of days, that's when the cleanup is then done. Different for the personal information cleanup versus the personal information if it's in a manual review state. We definitely have clients who do manual processing and manual review. So of course you're not going to want to strip out that personal information in real time if you're going to reprocess that lead on a later day. So kind of by default, the settings that we offer or kind of have put into place, we do the real-time cleanup on the sensitive information, something like a social security number in payday lead types or auto finance lead types, or you have bank account information or bank account number within a payday lead type. Those are considered sensitive. So what we do is we encrypt those values. So when you go to look at them in the system, it's the one-way encryption value. So just as a quick example of what you can see. So for example, I submitted this information, John Doe, 123 Main Street, so on and so forth. When it gets to the system, you'll see here the real-time cleanup occurred for the name and the social security number. So we stripped those out. We had just the address here as the sensitive information to be scrambled. As you can see here, it's the one-way encryption. Here, when you're going to view the leads, here in the leads page. Of course, if you had a buyer where you delivered this lead outbound to the buyer, and they have lead via email, they have lead via their own CRM, Velocify, another boberdoo system, whatever it may be, of course, the real information still passes through and all that. It's just for protecting the data after that. So after this process is done, it's just sitting here, in your system. So that's where this data retention and the data security really is making its case. So, for example, if I wanted to go to the lead logs tab and look at this information, okay, I want to look for lead ID 1, so I go to Tools Logs, I go to Lead Logs, and here I look for lead ID 1. Sorry, it's showing up there. show you another system. So when you go into the lead logs tab, there's one that has more information so you can get a better idea of how actual data, when it's coming through in normal batches, kind of looks. So you have your lead ID here, and all your ping posts and your processing logs. So if I were to go to try to look at these logs, I would click on this, but I get this: you must activate secure mode from your user drop down to access this feature. So this is something new as well, which is our secure mode. So anytime someone's trying to export data out of the system, look at this specific data information. We can enable what is called secure mode, and what that does is boberdoo then logs that user and logs that kind of session of what they're doing, so that way you know who's exporting data, who's looking at this information. So to enter secure mode, all you do is click on your username at the top, and there'll be a little button here for secure mode, which makes you then re-enter your password. Once you re-enter your password and log in, that logs in the user mode as secure mode, then allowing you to access that data. Same thing goes for exporting leads out of the system, viewing lead logs, exporting lead logs, information like that where the secure information. So these are all tools and upcoming changes. You can see that this is our newest release here where we look at it. It's 5.12, which is coming soon, where we'll have these new kind of secure features for the sensitive cleanup, for the personal information cleanup. We dealt with the GDPR changes, in the last year as well, for any clients who are doing, European leads. Those were all the hoops that, everyone had to jump through in that situation. It's almost the same thing here making its way to the U.S. now. And you can see here, as we've shown you with the Vermont state law, this is the first one, but we definitely expect to see the other states follow suit as well in the near future. So lastly, I wanted to close off with a nice, helpful link. I'm going to paste this in the chat. This is boberdoo.com/security. I'll go to it right now for you. So this kind of highlights those four main options that we locked in, we talked about before. The one thing I did not mention is the login security, which is just another level of access that you can have, just like Facebook and any other type of login situation now where you try to log in and it pops up and says, hey, enter your 6-digit code we just sent to your cell phone. And your cell phone gets a text message with the 6-digit code, and you plug that in, and that's how you log in. So that's what that two-factor authentication means, basically 2 levels of access to get in. So that option can be enabled, disabled per user, and so that option can be used to further have some more security, even to get into the system. Once you're into the system, that's when we're looking at this lead field security, where I mentioned we're encrypting the data, and that way if you want to enter secure mode, you can then log into that. When you are in secure mode, your actions are then logged and then stored as well. The lead field and data deletion, this is the big one. This is kind of where all these laws are coming into place. We do have new options for automatically exporting this data out via an AWS secure export. So that would definitely be something we would recommend getting set up. We're already kind of integrated with it, pretty quick setup. What happens then as soon as the leads hit your system, they're also sent outbound to your AWS account where the information is all stored there. This way, nothing is stored in your boberdoo system at all, or no identifying information, I should say, is stored in your boberdoo system at all. And then finally, the secure data retention. Same thing with it getting into your Amazon account. So, it's definitely something we are pushing our clients. Hence the newsletters, hence the webinar. We will always want to make sure that we're in that forefront of making sure our clients are aware of these types of changes, because it affects everyone. So we want to make sure our clients are successful and help them as much as we can. So at this time, I wanted to flip it over to any questions that anyone may have related to these data retention and security options that we have. And as I mentioned, please just go ahead and enter those questions in the chat, and we'll be able to cover those as needed.
No, bo to ja nie mam racji negatywne odbicie. To rozmawiałem. To ja nie mam racji, bo masz stable. Wtedy mamy enable, teraz mamy stable.
Well, if there's no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. And if you think of something after the call, of course, just feel free to shoot me an email. My email is Brett, BRETT, @boberdoo.com. Thank you so much and have a good day.